Now, as the India-China border situation remains tense, the focus is presently on the events unfolding in Moscow, where the foreign ministers of the SCO, that is the Shanghai Cooperation Organisation, are gathering to meet. Now, India's foreign minister S. Jaishankar will be attending the SCO ministerial meeting. He'll also be holding bilateral meetings, starting with his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov. Now, both sides will focus on aspects of bilateral and regional concerns. But when it comes to the issue of the India-China border standoff, Moscow, interestingly, has adopted an approach of non-interference in the bilateral issues between India and China. A lot of things hinge on how things go on in the Russian capital. The Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi is also present. Jaishankar and Wang Yi are expected to be face-to-face at least 3 times in the meeting. And they'll also be participating in common engagements. There will be a meeting between both the nations on the sidelines. On the other hand, Pakistan is being represented by Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi. Before leaving for Russia, S. Jaishankar said that India will continue its zero diplomacy policy with Pakistan until it shuns terror. And therefore, no meeting, even on the sidelines of the SCO, is expected between India's Foreign Minister and his Pakistani counterpart. So this, of course, is a crucial bit of a meeting. Now, S. Jaishankar is in Moscow to attend the foreign ministers' meeting of the Shanghai Cooperation Organisation. It is expected that he will have a run-in with his Chinese counterpart at least on 3 occasions. Will they be meeting on the sidelines? That could happen, and it remains to be seen as to how things actually pan out. But on the question, because remember, Pakistan is also going to be a part of this meeting and it will be represented by its Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi. S. Jaishankar has said that with the Pakistani Foreign Minister, he is not expected to have any meeting, not even on the sidelines of the SCO. And he said that the Indian policy of not talking to Pakistan so long as it does not shun terror will continue. Now, Russia, interestingly, has been looked at as a player that can talk directly to Beijing and see if some kind of a resolution could be found for the India-China standoff in Ladakh. But interestingly, Russia has decided to adopt an approach of non-interference, stating that the Ladakh standoff between India and China is essentially a bilateral affair between the 2 nations, and therefore Russia may not play an active part in trying to bring about a resolution there. And for more on this, we are joined in by WION Siddhant Sibil, who is joining us live on this broadcast. Good morning to you, Siddhant. This is, of course, an important meeting that S. Jaishankar will be attending, the foreign ministers' meet of the SCO. Give us a sense of what can be expected to come out of this meeting.
Well, Mohammed, it's an important meeting. This is the first in-person meeting between the 2 foreign ministers, which will happen approximately 6 p.m. Indian Standard Time. There will be 3 occasions. Both the foreign ministers will be face-to-face. First, of course, the SCO foreign ministers meeting. Then, of course, the India, Russia, China lunch meeting. And then, of course, the bilateral. This bilateral is expected to perhaps give a direction, but also, more importantly, be an icebreaker when it comes to the tensions between the 2 countries. We know the tensions have risen between India and China substantially. In fact, Monday and Tuesday both saw the attempts by the Chinese to intrude into Indian territory. In fact, all throughout the day on Tuesday, the Chinese tried to intrude and indulge in provocative behavior. So by and large, this can be a major event, and this can be, as someone described to me, as the miracle of Moscow that can help bring the thaw between India and China, the 4-month-long tension between the 2 countries.
You know, the miracle of Moscow, can it actually happen? Because the last time the defense ministers as a part of the SCO actually met on the sidelines of the SCO last week, China post the meeting came out and said that India is responsible for what is happening in Ladakh. Now, this was not a statement that one would have expected after a meeting between the defense ministers of the 2 nations. And today we expect the foreign ministers of the 2 nations to meet. Can anything realistically be expected from the Chinese side in terms of what is happening in Ladakh, and also to try and get a resolution for it?
defense ministers meeting was something that was the first political in-person meeting between the two sides, between India and China. But by and large, we saw the outcome as well. It was by and large rhetoric by the Chinese side reiterating what they have been saying for a pretty long time. But largely, we know that when it comes to the standing of the Chinese defense minister in their own system, it's not as good as what the Indian defense minister has. But Wang Yi definitely has that position in the entire Chinese system. So by and large, second political in-person meeting, and that of course can help in reducing the tensions.
Absolutely indeed. And lastly, Siddhant, before I let you go, there's a lot that's been spoken about the role that Russia can actually play in trying to mediate and cool down the tensions that have been escalating over the issue of Ladakh. Russia has decided to, adopt a policy of non-interference. Over the next few days, and also as a part of this meeting, can we see some kind of an increased Russian shall we say, mediation efforts to try and get the Chinese to see reason?
Well, if you look at the Russian role, just few days ago, there was a briefing by the deputy envoy here in Delhi, a virtual briefing in which a question was asked by WION. The response by the Russian side was that when it comes to the Chinese side and the Indian side, there is non-interference policy by Moscow. But it doesn't look so, because it looks clearly that Moscow has some role as a host of the SCO, as a host of the BRICS, as a host of these two groupings, bringing India and China together on the same table. So largely, we know that Moscow has good relationship with Beijing and New Delhi. Both with New Delhi, of course, it's a defense partnership. It's a strong defense partnership. So largely, we do see a role being played by Moscow, not directly, but perhaps in a way that is not over the table, bringing both sides on the same table. That is the role of Moscow, it looks like, from the meetings which have happened, back-to-back meetings between, of course, the defense ministers and now foreign ministers of two countries.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Siddhant Sibil, for joining us and getting us all those updates.